Oh, hello. It's Monday the 29th of January, and I hope you've had a good weekend and your week last week wasn't too bad. You got away with storm damage. So I thought this week I would start to look at my potatoes. I've got several different varieties here. I've got Sarpo Mirror, Sarpo Blue Daniel, I've got Axona, and then which is Sarpo. Then I've got Pentland Javelin, Kestrel, and yes, Picasso. So I've got 6 different varieties of potato here to look at. But do I chip them or do I not? Well, farmers don't. Should I? Now that's a very good question. I'm going to do a trial. Most years I normally do chip my potatoes if I feel that they need it. This year, because the weather is so up and down and the long range weather forecast is saying that it's not going to be nice right the way up to at least mid-March. So I think this year I'm going to have a go at chitting them. Now, chitting them is to get them started, get little tiny shoots on them. You don't want big long shoots, just enough, about ½ inch to 1 inch shoot, that's it maximum. If they get longer, then yeah, it's okay, you can do some with them, but in the past I personally have found that they don't do as well as if you can get them in the soil at just the right time. Now, I grow all mine in potato bags. I don't use the ground. Previous years when I put them in the ground, I've had earworm problems, I've had slug damage, and sometimes half to 2/3 on 1 year of my crop was eaten away by slugs and earworms. And I said, not again. So from that day onwards, I've used potato bags. Now you can get these potato bags from the internet quite easily. It's cheaper than going to the local garden centre and getting them from the garden centre. There's so many different potato bags out there, different shapes, different sizes. Some are round, some are square. I personally use Jameson's, which is a nice square one, nice and easy, 2 big strong carry handles. I had some from several years back and they've still done me well, but this year I thought I'll pass those on and I'll get some new ones, so I bought 20 new ones. Not too expensive at all. So I'll just grab some potatoes and we'll get started. So the first ones I'm going to look at are the Pentland Javelin. If you can hear water slurping, Bo's having a drink. He's just had a bone, so now he's having a drink to wash it all down with. He's not the most delicate of eaters and definitely not the most delicate of drinkers. So, right, Pentland Javelin, a good old-fashioned potato. I do like them, and they are good croppers. Now these, as you may see, are already beginning to send out some shoots, so it's not going to be hard to get these started off. So you say, okay, so you're going to chip with the potatoes, how are we going to do it? Well, there's a lot of different ways. You could put them just laid out in a box and put them somewhere cool, out of direct sunlight, and get them started. Or you could use egg boxes. Now if you use an egg box, I've got a range of egg boxes here in shapes and sizes. They go from 6 eggs, 10 eggs, 12 eggs in cardboard. They would be my preferred ones to use. And then they go to, you can see we use a lot of eggs in this house, to these big ones here. which are 15 eggs. So it doesn't really matter whether they're plastic or cardboard. I just personally prefer the cardboard. As I've got a lot of potatoes, 6 different varieties, and only a very few cardboard trays, we're going to put them to one side. We're going to use the plastic. So all I do is get one tray. These are ideal because it keeps the potatoes separate. Look for a good eye. That one there, I think, and stand them up. And then all I do then, and all you have to do, is take the potato. Now some of these, they're seed potatoes, but look at the size of them. They are big. To me, a seed potato, when I was at agricultural college, we was always taught a seed potato should be no bigger than that. But then look at that. Now, that one there, I could have as mini baked potato. So basically, if you're buying potatoes by weight, you should get all them. I'm getting 2 in one there. That should be 2 potatoes, the size of 2 potatoes. So I've, instead of having 3 potatoes, I've now only got 2. And it's not just that, look, they can be even bigger. So I think this year, and it's the same with all the potatoes, I think this year potato dealers are struggling. They're scraping the barrel. The potatoes I've seen in the packets that you can buy in the garden centres hanging up, they too seem to have such a wide diversity of potatoes, from small to large. And then you go from that small to that small. So in this packet alone, I got 1 very large potato to 1 miniature potato. Now, in years gone, and my grandfather would have dropped down with a heart attack seeing the size of these, the vast difference. They'd have all been roughly the same size. They'd have all been about that size. Not the big ones or the small ones, but that size there, a nice size potato. Plenty of growth in it. Not squidgy, firm but not hard. So let's get these done up and we'll go from there. So as I say, look for the best end. If you can't find a best end, then don't worry, because they'll come up regardless. They'll shoot from somewhere. Now, I'm going to put these in, and I'm not going to worry too much because most of these I can't see a good end. Some are just beginning to shoot, which, yeah, those I'll put to one side. These bigger ones, well, yeah, the bigger ones are actually shooting. So we'll work it like that. And you can cut potatoes in half. I've sometimes found it's a hit and miss approach. You sometimes get, if you cut the potato in half, so you've got, say, a chit on this side here and another chit over there. You cut it down the centre, so you've got two halves plumbing. Yeah, sometimes no problem. Sometimes one or both will rot away. Now, you must really know yourself. When you're doing potato peelings, you get potato peelings, you put them on the compost heap, and what happens? Come the spring, you've got potatoes growing out your compost heap. why doesn't it happen with potatoes we intentionally want to grow? Yes, you get free potatoes, but I want my free potatoes to be the ones that I bought. Otherwise, I might just as well peel potatoes and stick the potatoes in the holes and let them come up instead. But there you are. So we'll get these into the trays with some haste and go from there. Take your time over it. Don't rush looking for any of the eyes, because it's well worth just spending a little bit of time looking for some eyes that are beginning to grow. And just so you're definitely certain what the eye is, I'll just show you again on this one. The eye is that piece just there. That's an eye growing. Now you can see it on this small one as well. See the little what light shoots there? That's the eye. When you put them in the tray, stand them up so that all the those shoots come up. Now, some people will put them in the ground with all the eyes that have come up. They may have eyes all over the place. Others will knock off all the eyes, just leave maybe 2, 3. Some will even leave 1 if they're looking for a really giant potato for, say, exhibition. They'll often use just 1. I just want them for the pot. So, yeah, I'll sort of leave about 4 on here on a shoot. This one, this very little tiny one, I leave 2 at the max. These big ones, then, yeah, I leave about 4 because they should be able to take 4 shoots. Yeah, I'll leave 4 on them. So once you've got them in the pot, in the egg tray, there you go, they're all in the egg tray now. So all stood up. So it's they're stood up like soldiers on parade. You don't need to put the top on, and as you can see with this size potato you can't put the top on. What you do then is find somewhere cool, dry, definitely dry, out of the sunlight. I like to put mine in the dark, and they'll be okay there. Keep a watch on them, and as soon as you get them shoots coming up, so we've talked about these little shoots, as soon as they're about 1 inch to 2 inches max, I get them into the ground. I would advise you to do the same, but do whatsoever. Don't go sticking them out there if it's frost on the ground, or if they forecast a big heavy frost. If you do get them in the ground and you're not certain, cover where you've got them, cover the ground over. They've not come through yet. You're earthing them up in any case, but if you want to be definitely certain, if you've got some old carpet or anything at all that can give you a frost layer, put it over the top. I've used straw, I've used hay in the past, just cover the top of where I planted the potatoes when I used to grow them in the ground. Now I grow them in bags. I put them in the bag. I put some chicken mulch, that's the that I use, which is actually a chicken bedding. It's a rapeseed straw chopped bedding. I put about 1 inch to 2 inches of that in there, and then I cover the bags with a tarpaulin. As the potatoes come through, I keep earthing them up. I remove the chicken bedding and put some more soil in, put the chicken bedding back in. Don't forget it's clean bedding, it's not used bedding, don't make that mistake. Too much nitrogen in there. But just move it. You can get, if you can't get chicken bedding, you know, look for for the horse bedding, which is made out of the rapeseed straw, chopped rapeseed straw. I say if you haven't got that, straw or hay is fine, not a problem. Anything that's going to give you that bit of protection. So I'm going to get the rest of these done, and I'll come back once I've finished them. Right, well that's the 3 main early crop potatoes ready for putting away now so that they can carry on chitting. These are the Pentland Javelin, 1.5 kilos worth in there, and you can see the number there, how many I've got. This is the Picasso, there again 1.5. There is a difference between the number, but only a very small difference. But there's also this. Look at that big split and the damage there. Now these two have got the potential to go off and go mouldy and rotten, so keep them away from the rest of these potatoes. If they survive the planting, plant those two, but don't put any other potatoes in with them in case they do go. Now compared to this, have a look at the Sarpo Blue Danube. These are a much smaller potato. Look at the number there. Now, there again, 1.5 kilos. And look at the difference. There is a lot of difference there, isn't there? To me, that's the size that a potato seed should be. Definitely not that. Well, I've still got 3 more lots of potato to do. I've got my second early, which is a Kestrel, and then I've got my main, which is Sarpo Mirror and Sarpo Axona. All these varieties have got a certain amount of resistance to pests and diseases, or so they say. We'll wait and see, because I've grown Pentland before and had success, but I've not grown the other varieties. Pentland, I know, has got a certain amount of resistance to slugs and earworms because their skin can be a bit tough for them, but they're not tough when they're cooked. The others I don't know about, but they're supposed to have the same resistance, and also to have a little bit of resistance against blight, or so I've read. Now the earlies should be going in around about March time. If they're ready, I'll put these into their bags in February and get them well covered over. The second earlies, which will be the Kestrel, will go in around about sort of April, and the main end of April to beginning of May, and that's the Mirror and the Axona. When you take the potatoes out of their bags, carefully cut the bags open. They are very handy. Got 101 different uses. So I just keep them. They can be little sort of hold bags. You know, if you've got fruit like melons that are too heavy, you know, put a melon into one of these. You know, even, you know, cucumbers, and just tie the top lightly, and then just hang it up so that it's taking the weight off of the plant. Xmas potatoes. It's not too early to think, am I going to grow Xmas potatoes? My answer is yes, with a but. The but is, can I get Xmas potatoes at the right time of year? Charlotte, Nicola and Maris Pear. Now Maris Pear is a potato I like. Nicola I've not tried. Charlotte's a very nice all-round, I find, salad potato. Quite easy to grow. I've never had any problems growing it. If you plant that around June through till end of August, you should be cropping from about October right the way through the festive period. Well worth a go. You may have to buy the potato early. I'm waiting to find out from one of the potato suppliers if they're going to have any that they're going to sell in the summer. If not, I'm going to have to buy them now and try and keep them somewhere where they're not going to start sprouting. It's not recommended apparently to put them in the fridge because it can damage the the skins, it can damage the internal potato and stop them from sprouting. So you want somewhere definitely dry, definitely dark, and very, very cool. Something we all have a problem with. But I'll look around and see what I've got with somewhere to put them. Well, that's the potatoes all put into egg boxes, and the difference is dramatic. The kestrel having just one tray, 15 potatoes. The Sarpa mirror having 17, and then it sort of varies upwards from then onwards. That's the Axona to the Picasso to the Pentland Javelin to the one with the most, which is the Blue Danube. Who would have thought that 1.5 kilos of potatoes could come in so many different shapes, sizes, and in quantity too. A little bit disappointed because with the size of them, also that there's a couple of damaged ones which clearly have gone through the sorting process undetected. But we'll let them chip now and see how they go and get them planted, and we'll see what the crop happens. Well, I'm going to call it a day for today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Right, well, I brought you over to see the sprouting seeds that I did the other week. This is the rocket, and that is, well, lovely, that is. Beautiful growth on there. And if you look there, see all the roots going into the water. Now the coriander and the basil is only just beginning to sprout. That's the coriander, and this is the basil. That's taken a lot longer. So I think next time I'll put the rocket in the tray, and in the other tray I'll put cress. I might try mustard, but it normally germinates a bit later than the cress. So it might be wise to put I could put the mustard in first for a few days, get it started, and then put the rocket in. Yeah, I might do that. But the coriander and the basil, I think I'll put in the same main tray, both in each different section, and then try some of the others and see how they germinate. The peppers, unfortunately to say, not a sausage, as we used to say when we were younger. Nothing. Finito, nil. I think I'll take these off of the heated propagator tray. Put them in a tray on the radiator. I have germinated peppers before in seed trays on the radiator, so we'll give it a go. Sprouting peas. These are from Simply Seeds, and well, they're certainly taken off. What I need to do now is get them into the greenhouse. I'll put them in the little mini greenhouse which you saw me put up last week, and I'll get them in there so they're nice and warm and snug, and I'll wait for them to open up, and then I'll start picking some pea sprouts. The 2 tomatoes are looking really good now. Now these are 2 cherry tomatoes which something like, I can't remember the name actually, something like cilantro, something like that comes to mind, but I don't think it is. But in any case, 2 cherry tomatoes. These were from the experiment I did where I cut a cherry tomato in half. I did actually cut 2 and planted the halves, and I got 1 seed out of each half, 1 seedling. The other cherry tomato unfortunately rotted away, but then it was further gone when I did the experiment. These spider plants are all the baby offsets which I took last year. These, you just wait for them to put a couple of bits of root out at the base, then about an inch of stalk I cut off with them and just pop them in a bit of soil, just lightly tap it, put them in, don't bury them or anything, and 99% all roots, and it'll give you a forest of these lovely spider plants. I've got them everywhere, and I think this year family and friends are going to have them everywhere because I've got loads. Ah, doesn't that look beautiful? That's the Sahara sand they've been talking about. And the further south you look, the thicker it seems to get. Absolutely beautiful. And it seems to be clouds of it. It's now around about 5:30. Oh, it's so nice to have the light. Hopefully it's going to be an absolutely glorious day tomorrow. I've been busy in the garden today. I've potted up the garlic chives, get it right, and the golden thyme. I've still got this patio cox's apple to put in somewhere, and I've got these containers. These are the recycle containers which we used to use for the recycling, but now we use the mauve top bin over there. And the council said we can do whatever we like with these, so I'm going to use these to grow carrots, and also this container here. It's above the 15 centimetres, which they reckon is the height that carrot fly can fly up to, so should be clear. Here I've got sage, that's the fig with this, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a perennial salad leaf when it comes back in the summer, and a rosemary, and that's sitting in a tumble dryer drum, salvage. Of course, the Jones's sewing machine base with the various different little Sempervivians etc. on the top, and I've got two of the strawberries hanging on there, and the other two hanging on this old bird feeder. So yes, of course the bird feeders now hang on the two arches, and that one there and that one there. I don't grow feed seed anymore because it sprouts everywhere. Even though I've got a big pack of seeds, so I'm going to have to find someone that might want them. Potato bags are there. I've done some more work here and got some more of the earth sorted out there and refreshed, and that's about as far that way as I'll be going. That bare area there will be potato bags and containers. Here I've got more Sempervivians and various little alpines, strawberries. These I'm going to grow lettuce in, and more strawberries there. So that's the spearmint, the peppermint, the apple mint, and that's a perennial celery. Very nice. Look in the description, and I'll put down where I got it from. and then of course all the garlics. This is definitely my garlic bed this year, and the turnips left over from last year. We'll see whether they bulk up in the spring. They're looking really good. I mean, they're well sheltered. South side has got a wall. That's where all the grass is, and yuccas and so on. Nice bay there. Oops, get your hands out of the way, Colin. Nice bay. I've got another two. I've got one on the wall over there, and one over the other side there. Yes, so I'm looking south. First half of the garden is basically grasses, ornamentals, yuccas, that sort of thing, and the two Bramley apple trees, one over in that corner and one there, and a plum there. And then here I've got a cherry. Oh, there's another small apple tree there, and of course a big yucca there, and that tall thing there is a black elderflower, a black Niger. And then the little tub pond, which the birds like to get on that log and give themselves a nice bath and have a drink. And we're back down to the garden with the olives, and round by the patio at the back of the greenhouse there's two more olives. So yes, this is my growing area.